The Tamiya Apollo 1 kit. In June of 1968, Tamiya released a scale model of a fictitious lunar rover as the first offering in their Super Space series. Named the Apollo 1, it had no relation to the Apollo program other than being on the moon. It was, in fact, an attempt to cash in on the very popular Gerry Thunderbirds TV show, which began in 1966. A pre-release line of Thunderbirds models was made by Lincoln International Models in 1965, but it was Imai models who were enjoying a booming market in 1967. The Thunderbird secret base was scheduled to be released from Imai in 1968 at 2,200 yen, or about $6.61 in American money in 1967, roughly $61 today, and Tamiya wanted to get in on the action. Tamiya was already doing very well with its 1/35th scale line of model tanks, including the Chieftain, the SU-100, the JS-3, the T-34, and others, many of which were remote controlled. They also saw how well their competitors Morrison and Imai were doing with the science fiction models, so they decided to make a competing product line. By reusing these remote controlled tank systems, they decided on a science fiction vehicle with a near future look to it in the vein of the Thunderbirds. To help them to compete in this arena, they decided to go with a quasi-snap-together kit. In fact, little if any glue was actually needed. Thus, the Space Development Exploration Vehicle Apollo 1 was born. It had light bulbs, a pre-assembled gearbox and electronics, and a significant amount of play value, perfect for young people. Despite this, it had a box art that has been called classy by some forums. It did, however, need to go against the headwind of many modelers who saw it as more of a toy than a model. The kit was made and marketed not long after the tragic Apollo 1 fire in 1967, a fire that killed astronauts Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee. The rationale for this naming may have been to try and feed off the popularity of the Apollo program, but there was a real potential for controversy about using the name of a craft in which 3 people died. That said, the kit was never popular enough for any discernible controversy to arise. It is possible that some buyers may have seen it as a way to pay respects to the lost astronauts. But regardless of whether it was homage or crass marketing, the Apollo 1 name was used. Tamiya created this vehicle from whole cloth and as such paid no royalties. They invented their own universe, with the kit commentary saying it was part of the Global Defense Force. The imagery shows a crew of 5 with a woman astronaut as part of the crew, which was rather progressive for 1968, but the kit does not include any figures. The kit came with a rotating disc in the center of the top that changed color as it rotated. The instructions read that the Apollo is fixed with a flashlight revolving disc which emits 3 different colors, red, blue, and yellow, to notify its location during the run. This allowed kids to run it around a darkened room while shining colored lights on the ceiling. Again, play value. The wheels were made of polyethylene and were simply press-fitted into place. The mold of the rubber caterpillar track seems to be from the Tamiya T-34, but in a different length, and it is gray rather than black. Sales were likely helped since about this time Morrison went into bankruptcy, as did Imai the following year. Tamiya released a follow-on kit called the Jupiter 2, possibly trying to tap into the popularity of Lost in Space, but it had no relation to the TV show. The Jupiter 2 was the same vehicle, towing a dual missile launcher in lieu of a cargo trailer. The kit had a short life, although it does seem to have remained in the Tamiya catalog until at least 1972, but no longer. This is likely due in no small part to the 1973 oil crisis, which crippled the plastic kit model industry. The molds and patterns appear to have been lost or possibly even destroyed. As a result of the kit's unique nature and its rarity, complete unbuilt kits in their original boxes can go as high as $2,000 in 2023. So that's what I could find out on the rare Tamiya Apollo 1 and Jupiter 2 vehicles, made to compete with the Gerry Anderson-style universes that were so popular with kids in the 1960s. But without a franchise to promote them, they were eventually consigned to the dustbin of kit model history. I'm Max of Max's Models. Model on.